As a practice owner, crises are pretty much unavoidable. In fact, if you're not good at handling crises, then you're probably in the wrong job because it's pretty much what we do day in and day out. Viktor Frankl had a great quote. He's the author who wrote the book, Man's Search for Meaning. Let me get this straight. He said, everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's way. And in many circumstances, the crisis you're facing is not as important as how you handle it, your attitude towards it. So my name is Jamey Schrier, and today we're going to dive into how you can better handle the crises that you're facing in your practice as the owner, as the leader of your business. Look, I've been in this industry for 30 years in physical therapy. I've been in private practice and then as an entrepreneur coaching other practice owners for over 25 years. I have faced many crises, more than I'd like to admit. The good news is today I'm going to share with you some of my experience and what I did well and what I wish I could go back and do over. So whether you're a PT, OT, pediatrics, mental health, speech and language, really doesn't matter what practice that you're in, what business or industry that you're in, you're going to so much benefit of what I'm about to share with you. So let's dive in. The number one thing when a crisis hits, stay calm. That's right. Stay calm. I remember when the pandemic hit a few years ago, I was one of the first people in the whole country actually to host a webinar. I had hundreds and hundreds of people and practice owners on the webinar. And the first thing I said, I was just stay calm, because people freak out when there's a lot of uncertainty. And yes, we can be uncertain, but we can't show that. We need to make sure that we are taking our temperature, that we are showing up for our team in a calm demeanor. Yes, we might be worried and everything too, but the last thing you want is the owner of the company freaking out. Oh my God, what are we gonna do? We're gonna lose our jobs and everything. Come on. That's not what you want to do. So having that calmness is like the number one thing that you can do. Next, communicate clearly and communicate often. So let me give you an example. Your therapist just resigned. It was your number one therapist, good person. Now your staff is freaking out. They're all whispering, what's going on? What's going on? What are we going to do? How are we going to handle the increase in the patients because, he's not here anymore. You want to communicate. You want to get ahead. You ever heard of the phrase, stay ahead of the story or get ahead of the story? That's what you want to do here. When a crisis hits, you want to control the narrative. So speak to your team right away. Whatever information you can give them. You can say, yes, so-and-so did end up leaving. They're moving back. But don't worry. We're going to figure out a plan of how to absorb the patients. And, we're going to be okay here. The next thing you want to do is not just communicate, but you want to do it frequently. The best leaders in the world, when a crisis happens, they are communicating about it, giving updates. Here's what's going on with the person that left last week. Here's what we're doing about it. Here's what we've done about it. Here's what you can expect. And don't worry, I'll be sending out an email or addressing it in a staff meeting in the next couple of days. Let people know what's going on. Do it frequently and let them see you do it in a calm, confident manner. Number 3 is a biggie. Focus on solutions. Look, when any crisis happens, it's easy to condemn, criticize, and complain. I mean, it's easy to be like, oh my God, things are happening to me. But as the leader, you don't want to do that. Let's say Medicare cuts its reimbursement rates again, right? We can sit there and bitch and complain about Medicare all day long, but that's not going to help what's going on right now. People are going to be worried about, oh my God, the rates are being cut. Is my salary going to be cut? How am I going to be effective? What's going on here? So the key is you want to calmly sit down and focus on solutions. If you need your team's help, then you can sit with them, especially your leadership team, and say, hey, look, Medicare is cutting their rates in a couple of months. It's going to go into effect on this date. We could sit here and complain about it and say it's not fair, but that's not really going to be productive. What I'd like to see is brainstorming maybe 3 or 4 ways that we can offset the lower reimbursements. And then you start getting to solution world, not, problem world, and talking about all the different problems. So focusing on a solution is a great way to handle crises. Number 4, empower your team to step up. Sometimes a crisis, it's a great time for your team to rise. So here's an example. And this happened with one of our clients. So they had a marketing person kind of handling their social media and their content strategy and stuff like that. And the person flaked out and left. So the owner was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Do I really want to go back and try to interview someone again and go through all that? What he did is he asked his team and say, look, our social media person left. Here's what they were doing. I'd love to get your thoughts on whether or not that would anyone want an opportunity to kind of help out here. And someone raised their hand and said, I love doing that stuff. I love posting. I love figuring out all of the calendars and the different social posts, and they were even good at doing some editing. So next thing you know, this person was doing the job and they figured out a little extra compensation for it, but they were doing a better job than the quote marketing expert. So this actually created a new position. They were doing this and they were still treating, but they figured out the time when to do it. And the person actually loved it so much that this was a great retention tool, because the person wanted to get more into doing more of that stuff rather than just patient care. So it created a great opportunity. So sometimes these opportunities arise when the crisis happens, and allowing your team to step up and help is a huge thing for them. It can help you in the process. No matter what the situation is, no matter what the crisis or the big issue that's happening, you as the leader, don't forget to stay focused on the bigger vision. You have a bigger vision for your business. There's a bigger play going on. Whatever this crisis is, it will pass. You will get past this. However, if you freak out, if you jump in, if you go crazy, if you show up frantic, how you react to it doesn't go away just because the crisis does. People remember that. Some of the decisions that you make, you never want to make decisions in a high emotional state. When emotion is high, intelligence is low, and we make bad decisions when we're emotional. We want to understand this when something is happening. Keep your eyes on the bigger picture here. Crises are going to happen, but these are opportunities for you to elevate your leadership, to show what you're about. Anyone can be a leader when things are going well. It's when things don't go well, you show the true character of someone. So look at the crises that you're facing as opportunities to elevate who you are as a leader, who you are as an owner. Look, this isn't easy doing this by yourself, right? Having someone in your corner, having someone to help mentor you or to coach you is so important. That was like a changing point for me in my business. Having someone that wasn't so biased and emotional about what was happening, and to give me sound advice when I needed help. And if you're looking for someone like that, I'd love to talk to you. And if you'd like, you can go ahead and schedule a discovery call. We'll sit down, we'll talk about what's going on, where you want to build your business, what are some of the obstacles there, and come up with a plan, and then figure out how you're going to execute that. There you have it. There are 5 tips on how to deal with crisis in your private practice. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more tips and advice and strategies for private practice owners. That's my focus, you guys, the private practice owners, and be on the lookout for the next helpful video.